Ken Schanke, franchisee from Jersey Mike's, have 2 stores in Connecticut and 2 more in development. We've utilized Sprockets for probably 6 months, 6 to 9 months. That being said, what we have found in utilization of the tools, it's allowed us to define a higher quality candidate, and it's a simple survey that we also look for engagement from our potential hire. So we'll run an ad on Indeed as an example. We'll get a lot of push through, for interested candidates. We'll actually then take it the next step by then reaching out to them through Indeed, and then also following up then with the survey letter through Sprockets, which then also really gives us a quick indication if somebody wants a job or really needs a job. And based on the quality time of how quickly they get back to us, then we follow up with the next step, which is our online application that we have through our website. And that process then is determined based to marry all of it together, along with timing that it took to get the survey back, along with the quality score that we get on the customer, quality score that we get on our candidate, and then we tie that into our online application, which goes through the process of our brand awareness, menu test, company guidelines, and then a few other select questions that we get back from the candidate. I would say the biggest challenge that we were faced with in hiring was finding the right candidate and looking for a candidate that not only fit the model that we look for with our culture, which is obviously one of my key core values that we have for our teams. One of the 7 is energy. And I find that one to be right at the top with our culture, because it's the energy that someone portrays in the store that allows that customer on the other side of the line, because it's a very active customer experience you get with Jersey Mike's. You go to the slicer, you go to the sprinkler, you go to the wrapper, you go to the POS system or register, and you're cashing out. That being said, everyone down the line is asking you a question. How would you like it? What would you like? And it's all about energy and that experience that you get when you're in line to when you get to the end of the line. You're going to get asked 3 more questions. 1 more question, you can add a tip. 1 more question, are you a short plate member? All those things are about a positive customer experience. And I'll use a lot of negative experiences, not with Jersey Mike's, but with other brands that I've seen in my research. Was you'd walk into the store, they used to know your name. They used to know what Ken wanted when he walked in the store. I walk in now, they barely pick their head up and look at me. So you wanted to find people that were not only great employees, you wanted to provide a career and not a job. So in providing a career for them, you wanted to find somebody that had that aspiration to have a career. So in finding the candidates that look for careers, we weren't finding them through just running through all the applications that we had through Indeed or any other source that would flow into our funnel, I guess you'd say. So allowing that funnel to filter down to better candidates, my store manager, Lucy, was reached out to by one of your team members, and we tried it for a month, and we found that it was a great opportunity to streamline our funnel. And by doing that, the challenge of finding the right candidate for the right position was a little bit easier. And you also knew what traits that you were looking for, because we matched them up obviously against our top candidates. So they had the energy, they had cheerfulness, they had intellect, so they could understand, they were assertive. So they had an assertive trait that you would look for, like you would want to make sure you had that trait when you're looking for a shift leader or an assistant manager. Generally, we bring most of our team up through the ranks, so no one is generally ever hired as an assistant manager coming into the store. They kind of work from the ground up. Crew, shift, assistant. And then if you can match that and work that, then you have a career to become a store manager. Case in point, our second store was opened by a shift leader that started with us, who's now the store manager. And that same progression is taking place with the other 2 stores that we have coming up this year. I think one of the biggest components or keys to moving across the line as to not only just trying, when you try something, you're not all in. So if you want to be all in, you got to give it more than just, I'm going to try it, see how it works. But I think the biggest component to that is it requires active engagement. And I think that active engagement as a applicant on the other side, and as an owner or a store manager or whoever's doing your hiring on the other side of that component, is a key component to actually seeing the results of Sprockets and how it works. Because when you can get them engaged right from the beginning, because they've applied, that's step one, you can get them to step two to go through the survey. And I like to see it within 24 to 48 hours. If I see someone respond within that time frame, then I know there's an active engagement. So I think the same holds true from a franchisee or owner of the business or a store manager, is that active engagement. So it's the same thing. You can't just try it. You really have to be actively engaged in utilizing it. And if you do, then you will see the results of people that are on the fence. You want to try them out, you can try them out. And you may find that that 5-point candidate or the 6-point candidate may work out. If there's a rare instance that it does fit the mold that you're looking for, if someone's looking for a career and develop. You do find that the person that matches up to your 9 on the scale of 9 or 8 and in that range, the 8 to 10 range, those are the ones that you really see when you get in the store and they start working. You're like, yeah, now I get why it's working, because they really get it. They follow along the path, they're assertive, they have good energy, their intellect is strong, so it really brings them to that next level of, you're not constantly coaching and retraining someone over and over again. They're getting it and moving on. And I think Sprockets allows you to find that person through the funnel of engagement, from your part and the applicant's part, and then also the results from the survey. From one of my store managers, I would indicate that it's a great litmus test. So the first question she'll ask me is, what did they rank what was their ranking on the Sprockets survey? And today, perfect example, I gave her an 8.1 and an 8.9. That being said, she said that would be great, let's bring them in. High school students, we know we have a spot for them in the afternoons and the evening hours. We can always use high school students. So that's one anecdotal, I guess you'd say, response. My other store manager, when we had our opening, we used it religiously for every candidate that came through. And what we found was a great stability in our staff when we opened that was able to handle the volume and the pressure that started out when we started out with day one and has continued for the last 60 days.